Alright, hey, this is Edwin Gonzalez. I call myself Pop, so you could call me that. Yes, please call me that. I personally choose Pops over Edwin. Anyways, so this is my presentation. I am so sorry you can't see my face. It's because, I want you to look at the screen, and, I don't know, I try to make myself visible, but, the screen as well, but it didn't work out, so I'm sorry about that. So please just enjoy this. Thank you. And so this is Ethnography presentation. A true story, Edwin Gonzalez, parentheses Pops. And here, this is the symbol of Hinduism. And so I chose this picture right here to show me expanding my horizons because I'm observing a different culture that I'm not familiar with. So, yeah. And so what is culture? Culture refers to the cumulative deposit of knowledge, experience, beliefs, values, attitudes, meanings, hierarchies, religion, notions of time, rules, spatial relations, concepts of the universe, and material objects and possessions acquired by a group of people in the course of generations through individual and group striving. We all have different cultures. I'm Colombian. I have friends that are Venezuelan. The two countries are next to each other, but we still have different cultures according to our, just the way we live life. And so that's what culture is just differences in what we believe in, how we do things, roles, and daily life. And many people have many different cultures that we don't even know. So it's that. And so, what is Hinduism? Because I'm doing Hinduism, and that's the ethnography. Yeah. So Hinduism is the world's oldest religion, according to many scholars, with roots and customs dating back more than 4,000 years. Today, with about 900 million followers, Hinduism is the third largest religion behind Christianity and Islam. Roughly 95% of the world's Hindus live in India. Because the religion has no specific founder, it's difficult to trace its origin and history. Hinduism is unique in that it's not a single religion, but a compilation of many traditions and philosophies. Hinduism embraces many religious ideas. For this reason, it's sometimes referred as to a way of life or a family of religions as opposed to a single organized religion. So I actually looked into it, and there's lots of different deities that Hinduism has, and it's truly expanded, and so that's why it's just a family of religions altogether. And which I find interesting is that it's one of the world's oldest religion too. So that's cool. And this is why I chose Hinduism for my ethnography. I chose Hinduism for my ethnography because I grew up hearing about Hinduism. I heard it all the time at school. I had some friends that were Hindu, and I didn't really think much of it. But in middle school, I really got the idea of what it was. But I'll continue with the slide. I had bad assumptions about Hinduism. I found the religion to be weird, and that's my fault. That's me being judgmental. I thought Christianity, you gotta be Christian, or else you're just weird, and that was my mentality for a while. In elementary school, middle school, into high school, and I know that's wrong. Just because I'm Christian and you're a different religion, doesn't mean I have to be like, look, I'm better than you. You're doing this. You're bad. You're going to hell. No, that's horrible for me to say. I'm supposed to be loving to what Jesus calls me to be. And so this is what I thought about other religions. And I honestly felt like Hinduism was like something I attacked the most, which is just bad. So, yeah, but being in the culture has taught me that I should not assume things based on another culture that I do not know of. I wanted to upgrade my epoch, which is the term I learned during this class. And I just wanted to be better understanding cultures without judging them, and with not judging them at all. I wanted to observe cultures nicely, not just to be like, oh, that's weird, that's stupid. So I thought me practicing this at a religion that I really thought was just weird would help me really just help me as an individual and help me in my life and ministry and so on. And so my cultural informant, I arrived at the temple I parked in the parking lot and I counted people that were surrounding a fire. So as I pull up on the parking lot, I see a group of people, and I see a fire, and it was like on the street, not on the street, but like, how do I describe it? So going up to the temple, there's stairs, but like right before the stairs, there's like the street still there. So it's not on the street, but it's on the street. I don't know how to explain that. So the fire was there, and the group of people were. And so I went up to the group of people around the fire, and I was observing for about 5 minutes. And what I noted, as I was observing, a woman approached me. Really, like I saw her in the crowd, and she scooted towards me, like really like stealthy. It was pretty cool. And so she asked me like, "Hey, like how are you? Like what's your name?" And I replied saying, "Hey, like this is my name Edwin Pops." And I'm like, by any chance I told her this is my first time here, and I would like to get to know the culture more, and like if she would be happy like to explain everything to me or like what's going on. And then she said yeah, and so she just became my culture informer like that. I really didn't have this planned, but it just worked out so well. So she just yeah, it worked out well. So her name was Yustafi, the woman. I never got her age, so really all I got is her name and that she was just older than me. I say it about her 40s, but you never know. And so yeah, and so I don't have a slide for before entering the temple, but so after the fire, they're performing a ritual. What Yustafi told me, and it was that during the time of like when I did the ethnography, Corona was like starting to become a big thing in the USA. I didn't know about it, but like it was happening in China. I'm pretty sure other places in the world, but I didn't know about it. I heard about it, but I didn't know it was that bad. But then Yustafi told me the reason why they're performing a ritual. They would dance around the fire, and they had coconuts in their hands, and they had some type of, I believe, it was water. I believe she told me it was water that was inside the coconut, and they would pour it in the fire after they were done performing the ritual. And she told me the reason why it was because, like, they're worshiping a deity. I forgot what the deity names once, but it was because they didn't want to catch corona, and by doing that, they wouldn't. So I was like, oh, interesting. And she told me that they were about to enter the temple as soon as they're done. She told me I didn't have to do it because she knows it was my first time and that I was just there to observe. So she was really cool about that. So I yeah, she like looked at me if I was like she looked at my like feet or legs and she's like good, like you're wearing pants. Cuz she said you're not allowed to enter the Hindu temple, the temple if you're not like wearing pants. Like if you're wearing shorts that like reveal legs or thighs, you can't. You have to like put a towel around you. So I'm glad I wore pants. And I entered the temple. I noticed carpets everywhere on the floor. There was deity surrounding the room. So I walked in the temple, and in every wall, like every side of the wall, was just deities, and they're big ones, huge ones, and all different colors, all just differently different. And from like the entrance door of where you walk into the temple, there's just this nice red rug, and this rug just went all the way down in front of this one deity. And inside the temple was huge. It looked nice. It was a huge place, a huge room, and it just went all the way down. And then right in front of the rug at the end was this deity. And me thinking, oh, this deity must be important because like this red rug just automatically just goes all the way down. And I'm like, interesting. So I asked Yustafi, like, hey, like, is this deity really important? And then she answered that, and I'll explain to what deity it was later on the slides. And so Yustafi explained to me that all the deities were part of Hinduism and have like a different meaning in the religion. And then Yustafi went to one of the deities and started praying to them. She then came back and told me to sit down on one of the carpets. So around the room, there's just carpets everywhere, 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 and really nice carpets. And people were sitting down on the carpets when I walked in, you know, and people were walking in like afterwards. So yeah, I sat down on the carpets, and she went to go pray. And when I said like each deity has a different meaning, that's because like each deity has a different like purpose. Like you could pray for a deity for luck, pray for a deity for strength, pray for a deity for food. Like each one served a different purpose in like its own way. So I found it really interesting. And there's just lots of deities. So many I couldn't count really. I say 20, but I know there's more than 20 in there. I could just think of 20, I think. But yeah. And so the environment. Language was Hindi. It was all Hindi. She told me that the people that go there they just spoke Hindi, and that they were Indian, that they were from India, that they had family like that were Indian. And so the environment, deities all over the room, and above these deities, there's bright, colorful lights. That would that they would just shine. They would turn on the switch, and the light above the deity would shine on the deity, and it would make it look pretty. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And so I noticed that there was foods next to the deities. There's bananas, apples, and the people would put it there. They would like put the food next to the deity, and I thought that was interesting. And this one part, Mustafi actually, she had like some type of food, like food in a container, and she went around, like giving it to people's hands, and she gave it to me, and she told me to eat it. So I ate it. It was really good. I forgot the name, but I know that there was cinnamon. It had the taste of cinnamon, which is I like cinnamon. But so everyone that attended the temple was Indian, except for me, obviously. They had music. So when I sat down, they were just talking in Hindu. And Mustafi just explained to me this is the beginning of of what like goes around and how they started. So she couldn't really explain to me like what he was saying or translate it, because during that you have to be quiet. Nobody can interrupt. So the person that leads is called a Pustafi. No, a Pujari. Sorry, a Pujari. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But the Pujari is like a pastor, like at my church. My church would be a pastor that leads. But in this case, in Hindu religion, it's a Pujari that leads. And so we couldn't interrupt the Pujari. So then, during moments when the Pujari didn't talk, Mustafa would explain to me what's going on here and there. And so, mainly, they were praying. And they were singing along. They were singing. But there was no music playing. But later on, the music started playing and everyone stood up and started dancing. And I didn't know, like, I didn't understand what the music, because they were singing. I didn't know what they were saying because I don't understand the language. But they were dancing. I didn't dance. I just stood and watched and observed. But I tried my best not to laugh. I didn't laugh, which is good. You gotta keep that epoch. I didn't give dirty looks or anything like that. I really tried my best, and I'm glad I didn't do anything negative, or I hope I didn't do anything that somebody took negative in the wrong way. I was just really trying to be nice. There was no shoes, so I took off my before entering the temple. I took off my shoes, and it had like a sign saying like, "Put your shoes in here because you're not supposed to wear shoes while in the temple." And when in the beginning, when people will walk in, I noticed there was people from all ages, the elderly, people in their 40s, 30s, 20s, kids, teens, babies, and they all were there. Men and women and children. I found it interesting how a family would walk in and the children would go, like the men and wife would visit different deities to pray to. And so would the children. And so I actually stopped like, why was that? And she said that's because what I said earlier was each deity has like a different purpose. And so what the person believes, like what they need or what they want to have or what they fear or what they want to pray to, they pray to a different deity. And so the men and women and children often pray to the same deity or they would go off to another one. And so that went on. And so the deities. There were so many. I couldn't count. It's really interesting. But she explained the top three. Okay? One's name is Brahma. And it's the first member of the Hindu Trinity. And it's the creator because Brahma periodically creates everything in the universe. So the second one is Vishnu. Is the second member of the Hindu Trinity. He maintains the order and harmony of the universe, which is periodically created by Brahma and periodically destroyed by Shiva to prepare for the next creation. And the third one is Shiva, is the third member of the Hindu Trinity at task of destroying the universe in order to prepare for its renewal at the end of each cycle of time. And when I mentioned earlier about the rug just going all the way down in front of this one deity, it was Shiva. The deity was Shiva. And Shiva is, Mustafi told me Shiva is the one that's like mostly feared. And people usually pray to that deity most of the time. And so whenever someone entered the temple, they would go up to one of these three deities and start praying. And yes, I explained that. And so the ending. Yeah, this video is kind of short. I'm sorry. But as I was leaving the temple, I went to go put on my shoes, which were in a container with the other shoes I mentioned earlier. As I was putting them on, I'm lacing up my shoes. An older woman came up to me. She was in the Hindu temple with me as well. But I never said hi to her. I didn't say hi. But I forgot her name. She told me her name, but I sincerely forgot it. And she asked me if I enjoyed it tonight, like if I enjoyed my experience there. And she spoke well English. I didn't suspect, like I didn't know, but you never know. So I thought, hey, that's cool. So she spoke English. She came up to me, asked me if I enjoyed it, and I said it was interesting. Like I'm glad. I told her that I'm glad I came here to observe what I told her I was glad that yeah. I just I told her that it was interesting, and she then asked me if I was single. She wasn't hitting on me. She then asked me if I was single because on Thursday nights, they arrange weddings, like, so. On Thursday nights, it's for single young men and single young women. I don't think you have to be young, but it's for single men and single women. And she asked me, hey, if you're single, you look young, she told me. I'm like, oh, thank you. And she said, if you're single, come by Thursday. And Thursday we have a huge dinner. Many single young ones. And she said to wear something nice, like to look nice, to be presentable, because the parents would be there. And they would choose, like, who, like, they would arrange weddings depending on how the guy looks or how the guy's family or how if the guy has money. So it's all just based on what the parents want to base it on. And so it was arranged. And I said thank you for the offer. I didn't tell her, like, no. I just said thank you for the offer. Thank you for the invitation. And I just found it interesting. But yeah. So that was it. I left. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I'm sorry that you're not able to see my face. And yeah, so thank you.